Aloha mai kako and welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you are new to my channel, mahalo for stopping by. As you all can see, I am at Kawamoto Orchid Nursery, located in beautiful Palolo Valley. It is just a few miles from downtown Honolulu and also Diamond Head, which happens to be Hawaii's most recognized landmark. I'm so excited to be back here because it's been a while since my last visit, and I actually had a few of you that requested for me to make a video here. So without further ado, let's head on into the showroom and let's take a look at what they have. As soon as I walked in, to my right were these very beautiful Dendrobium inobi purple splash, which I somehow walked right past without even noticing. I think I was just so in awe with all of these beautiful blooms and the amazing fragrance in here that I somehow walked right past them. And here we have some oh so pretty Oncidium sweet sugar. Aren't they gorgeous? And I do believe I have one of these. If I'm not mistaken, I got it while I was in Hilo for the Hilo Orchid Show, either at the show from Carmela Orchids or during my visit to Akasuka Orchid Garden showroom. And I do have a video of my trip to Hilo, so if you guys haven't watched it yet, please go ahead and check it out. It was my first ever orchid show, like ever in my life. And first ever time going to the Big Island. Believe it or not, born and raised on Oahu, and I have never been to the Big Island prior to that. So it was a super fun trip for me. It was a quick trip. I was just there for the day, but I had an amazing time. They have so many beautiful blooms in here. It is amazing. And besides orchids, they also sell air plants, which you may have noticed in the front when I entered. And they have more in the back, and I'll show you guys those later, as well as exotic plants, which I know have been pretty much popular since the pandemic. And here we have some very pretty Dendrobium Love Memory Fizz. I do own one of these, that I know. I remember that I got it in a package from Carmela Orchids. But unfortunately, mine does not look as good as it did when it first came in. Oh, look at how pretty this is. I love the orange color. I definitely need to have more orange in my garden. I do have a lot of purples, but not too many orange orchids. These very pretty orchids look a lot like the ones that I purchased from Home Depot. Some of you may recall the orchids that I got for $7.88. Well, unfortunately, I do not have a lot of them left. Many did not survive. But Home Depot does have a 1-year plant guarantee, so I was able to get credit for the plants that I lost. And now let's go check out some very beautiful Cattleyas, which just so happens to be my mom's all-time favorite orchid. She's really good at caring for the blooms, but not so much caring for the plant. So the deal that we have is Once the blooms fade, I take the plant home and care for it until it blooms again, and then I give it back to her to enjoy. It's the only way I know how to save these orchids from an almost certain death. And here we have another very beautiful Cattleya. In the beginning, when I first started collecting orchids, these used to intimidate me so much. But not so much now, and they do better for me either mounted, bare root, or in lava rock. And that's how I grow a majority of mine. I hope you all enjoyed seeing what they have in the showroom, but now it's time to tour the rest of the nursery. Let's head on back. Another huge fern. I wonder how long it takes for them to get this big, because if you guys recall watching my other video of Hawaii Pacific orchids, they also had one that was either this big or even bigger. For those of you who watched my video that I released right before this one with Roy Tokunaga, you may recall him mentioning this very nursery and how it was located in a perfect location to grow orchids. And you guys will see why in a second, because they have the most amazing view right next to the mountain. I would never get tired of looking at this, even if I were to see it every single day. Isn't it gorgeous, guys? And here we have some mounted bulbophyllums, which I've never really been a fan of, just because of their reputation for not really smelling all that great. But lately, I have been seeing some really pretty ones. Like at the bloom show that I attended, they had a beautiful yellow one that I kind of regret not getting. And also my friend Nelson of Nature Nell, he showed some in a recent haul video that he released. There was this one in particular. It was beautiful. It was an orange one and it was just gorgeous. So I don't know, I might start adding some to my collection. We'll see. They are very unique looking. I mean, take a look at this one. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost alien-like. They are definitely different than any of the orchids that I have in my collection. This family-owned nursery sits on 3.5 acres. And would you guys believe me if I told you that it all started with the purchase of a single orchid by a 14-year-old boy? Well, it's true, and you can read about it on their website. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of the history behind this nursery. So it all began back in 1934 when 14-year-old Patrick Kawamoto purchased his very first orchid. His family were immigrants to Hawaii and money was scarce, so purchasing an orchid was considered extravagant. But Patrick was just so fascinated with their beautiful blooms that even though he became a welder by trade, he continued to collect new orchid varieties. He also began practicing the art of propagation and cultivation. Eventually, his collection outgrew the hobby stage, and the doors to Kawamoto Orchid Nursery were opened in 1947. Today, it is run by his grandson, Reed Kawamoto. All right, everyone, that's gonna conclude this tour of Kawamoto Orchid Nursery. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons. Until next time, remember to always live aloha.